welcome, dear viewers. Often, and I must say, in fact, very often when I travel, when I go out, when I meet some of you, I'm asked one question all the time, that on what basis do you decide your editorial line? And on what basis, or on the basis of which process do you decide which are the important issues to debate each evening? The answer actually to that is, in two of the debates that we've been having this week, the answer comes across in that. And these are the two debates I'm also taking up after 10 o'clock tonight. Let me explain. Our intent is to first draw opinion and participation on issues which affect the nation. And then, to the extent possible and to the extent that we can, to draw the attention of our millions of viewers to what we feel is in national interest. And to do that, we have to try as hard as possible to separate the immediate or the short term from the long term. Because I believe that when we look at things up too close, then we are often unable to take away the prejudice that we may have, the bias we may have, or our personal interest. And we are unable, therefore, to look at things solely and squarely in the bigger interest, which is national interest. We have to separate personal interest, ladies and gentlemen, from national interest. Case in point, for example, this week are the two big stories, the two big debates of the week. One, the COVID billion mark, and secondly, the war on drugs. Now, on the war on drugs, it is so sad that so many educated, informed people have, most unfortunately, made it a case about why a one-star kid isn't getting bail quicker. In doing so, all kinds of ridiculous positions are being taken. From what's the big deal with a little bit of drug use, to why are the courts going by the evidence the NCB is giving? How can you trust the NCB? What is the agenda of Sameer Wankade? The other way to look at it, which is the more appropriate way, the correct way, which is more long-term, which is in national interest, is that no nation can achieve greatness without completely eliminating drugs altogether. So if the more privileged sections of society are forgiving or a little indulgent about it, then their position is totally against my country's interest. The second story or debate, for example, is the billion mark on vaccinations. Note this, viewers, and you can check this yourself, you can do your own research. But it's very interesting that the same people who are fighting the Narcotics Control Bureau and suddenly abusing the system are also largely the same people who said India will collapse during COVID. They are the same people who said our economy will collapse, we will collapse, that we have been defeated by the Chinese virus. They are the same people who said Covaxin is a health risk. These are the same people who are saying now, what's wrong with a little bit of drugs? Don't believe the NCB. Where do these people come from? They come from a position of personal prejudice, which they want to camouflage. And what is our view? Our view is that such abject cynicism is against national interest. So we believe that journalism has one purpose, national interest. And it's actually quite simple when you begin to look at things that way. What is in national interest is right. What is not in national interest isn't. Frankly, isn't, and can never be. There is absolutely no complexity when you begin to look at things that way. And that's the way I look at it. That's the way we look at it. Whether it's COVID or drugs. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? I'd love to hear from you. And you can tell me what you think about the simple way we look at our reason for doing the news in national interest. I'd love to hear from you and begin a conversation on this. Please go down to Arnab online, which is in republicworld.com, and I'd love to begin a conversation with you on that.